What if I told you that getting into law school is about to become easier than it has been in decades? Imagine fewer applicants, higher chances of acceptance, and schools practically begging for students. This isn't just speculation, though. There's a clear trend that's changing the admissions game, and it's all tied to one surprising factor: demographics. Today, I'll share with you exactly why this is happening, what changes to expect, and how you can turn these shifts into a major advantage. First, for those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally increased my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. Now, to understand why law school admissions will get easier, we've got to go back to 2008. During the financial crisis, birth rates in the US plummeted. Families were having fewer children, and this trend continued even after the economy recovered. Fast forward to today, and that drop is catching up with us. The US birth rate is down nearly 20% compared to pre-2008 levels. Why does this matter for you? Because these smaller birth cohorts are now entering college and soon law school. According to the Higher Education Demand Index, the biggest declines are happening in demographic groups most likely to pursue higher education. Fewer students in high school means fewer students in college, and fewer college grads means fewer law school applicants. By 2026, this trend will hit colleges hard, and by 2030, law schools will feel the full impact. For you, this means less competition every year as we get closer to this demographic cliff. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Law schools rely heavily on tuition revenue to operate, and many are already struggling to maintain enrollment numbers. With fewer people applying, schools will have no choice but to adapt. What does this look like? First, lower admission standards. Schools will admit students with lower GPAs and LSAT scores to maintain their class sizes. Some schools may expand their incoming classes to compensate for the drop in applicants. And finally, more financial incentives. You can expect a surge in scholarship money and grants as schools compete to attract students. This isn't just a theory, though. Schools are already well aware of this fact, and they're preparing for the shift. It's a simple equation. Fewer applicants means schools will have to work harder to fill their seats. Now, let's talk about how schools are preparing for the demographic cliff and what changes you can expect from law schools as the trend accelerates. Schools will eliminate traditional hurdles like application fees or lengthy essays. In some cases, schools may even move forward with automatic admissions for students with strong LSAT scores. To attract more students, especially non-traditional applicants, more schools will offer online JD options, and we're already seeing the ABA remove guardrails around online law school education. Of course, this just makes sense. It gives people the flexibility to attend law school without having to uproot their lives. The next big thing, and I love this one, scholarship wars. With fewer applicants, schools will have to increase scholarship money to lure students to choose their school. This creates a great opportunity for you to negotiate better financial aid packages. Some schools may remove their LSAT requirements entirely to open the door for students who may not have considered law school before. However, this is moderated by the fact that schools also want to maintain their rankings in US News, and LSAT scores are a big factor there, so don't expect too much in terms of eliminating LSAT requirements. And last, to stay competitive, schools will invest more in new buildings, state-of-the-art classrooms, and hiring top faculty members to make their programs as attractive as possible. This is all great for students, of course. These changes mean more options, more incentives, and a better shot at admission than ever before. Now, of course, not all law schools are going to be equally affected by the demographic shift. Some will be harmed more than others. Lower-ranked schools and smaller schools rely heavily on tuition dollars to survive, so they'll feel the biggest pinch as applications decline. To stay afloat, they'll admit more students, offer more scholarships, and lower their standards significantly. So if you're applying to smaller schools or lower-ranked schools, it will be way easier to get in. Now, in contrast, elite institutions, top law schools, the T14, Harvard, Yale, and Stanford, they're all less vulnerable because they have massive endowments. They're not reliant on tuition dollars for their operating expenses. Now, demand for these schools might actually increase as applicants shift their focus to the most prestigious programs. That being said, of course, even elite schools may see slightly weaker applicant pools and slightly lower admission standards outside of their most competitive programs. Now, the sweet spot for many students will be the mid-tier schools because they'll offer better financial incentives and easier admissions than usual, without the cutthroat competition of top-ranked programs, and you're not going to a school with a bad reputation. Now that you better understand what's happening, let's talk strategy. Here's how to leverage these changes to maximize your odds of getting in and getting the best deal possible. First, apply broadly and apply strategically. Cast a wide net. Schools you thought were out of reach might now be within striking distance as they lower their standards. Secondly, negotiate scholarships hard. Because schools are going to be fighting more and more for students, you'll have more bargaining power than ever. You can use multiple offers to negotiate better financial aid packages. Third, get the highest LSAT score possible. A better LSAT score means better scholarship negotiation power and better opportunity to get into better law schools. Aim for a 170 plus LSAT score, or at the very least, aim for an LSAT score above the medians of the schools to which you're applying. If you can apply with an LSAT above the median, they're more likely to give you scholarship money. Now, if you'd like my help getting the highest possible LSAT score, that is exactly what we help students do at LSAT Unplugged. We offer live online classes via Zoom, on-demand video courses, small group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. You can check out the links below to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. Now, another opportunity you can leverage is non-traditional programs. Online JDs and part-time programs are going to become more common as schools aim to become more accessible and flexible to widen their applicant pool. And so if flexibility is important to you or beneficial for you, this is a great time to explore those options. Now, finally, keep an eye on changing trends in law school admissions. Keep an eye on schools that might offer automatic admission if you hit a certain LSAT score, get you in with more scholarship money to boot. Always nice to have. Now let's zoom out for a second, because the impact of the demographic cliff won't last forever. By the mid-2030s, law schools will have already adapted to the smaller applicant pools and competition might stabilize. But for the next decade, this is a great, unique window of opportunity, whether it's getting into a higher ranked school, getting more scholarship money, or just avoiding the stress of intense competition. This is a great time to take action. This could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity as admissions gets easier, scholarships get bigger, and law schools make it easier to apply. And so if you've been on the fence about applying to law school, this is a great time to act. If you'd like my help getting the highest LSAT score possible, getting into the best law school possible with the most scholarship money possible, please feel free to reach out. You can check out the links below to book a call with me and my team to get our support on your journey to scoring a 170 or above. And in the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.